It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Am I ready for the end of the world?
Dude, okay, be real with me. Did you get emotional at all during this? Putting yourself in that hypothetical situation?
The first time I watched it, I was just shocked. Just could not believe what I was watching.
At what part were you shocked? Like almost immediately?
Just from the first White House visit on.
Yeah. Well, jumping into the film, did you know what it was about?
No.
Oh, so you didn't even read a synopsis of any sort?
Nope. I saw their teaser trailer like maybe 8 months ago, and all it was Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio in the back of the airplane as the thing comes down, and then it's like, don't look up. And I was like, I have no idea what this is about.
It confused me. I didn't know if it was going to be a comedy because...
Well, it's Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, that's the part that I was like, okay, it's going to be. But like when you first see it, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, who doesn't just willy-nilly do a comedy, right? But this is more of a complex genre than just comedy.
It's a satire on the contemporary political environment.
It's a social issue drama, dude. And
it's
also
like,
a comedy, yeah.
I think it's kind of like Dr. Strangelove.
It's
like how that one took like a pretty serious look about like what was really happening during the Cold War and like made it funny and kind of like unbelievable. This movie's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Or even more similarly, Adam McKay had before this did Vice with Christian Bale, which is, you know.
Yeah, but Vice is a historical piece.
But still made it funny because it's they're making fun of Dick Cheney, dude,
he's
and
a horrible
George
person.
Bush.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like, I was surprised to see Adam McKay direct films like that because I'm used to Adam McKay doing Talladega Nights or Anchorman and like really teaming up with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. But for him it takes some balls and it takes some like comedic intellect to tackle this kind. And he wrote this before COVID existed.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be about climate change.
Yeah.
But like weirdly enough, when they started shooting this, it was during COVID, and it's just crazy how analogous COVID is to the entire plot of this movie.
Does art reflect reality or does reality reflect art?
Dude, right?
And honestly, guys, I would like to apologize to the baddies. We were going to do this episode about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When this movie was new and hot and fresh, but I got sick, and then Christian replaced me for a brief moment, and then I came back.
Yeah.
It was a really violent coup, but that's not anything we need to get into.
Coup? You're calling it a coup?
So here we are. Welcome.
Yes, welcome to another episode of ICBTB
podcast,
also known as It Can't Be That Bad.
My name is Alejandro.
And my name is Christian.
And we are your hosts for the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Depending on how we feel.
Discussing about the finer points of the cinematic masterpiece of Don't Look Up. If it is your first time joining us, guys, this is the podcast where we rate and review and defend films, no matter how bad they are. This movie's not bad. I mean, I think it gets some bad ratings because it is very out there. They are definitely making a point to say something.
I mean, it's divisive because they're not being subtle about what side of the political spectrum that they're taking.
There is little to no subtlety in this entire movie.
No, it's even though it's a satire, it's pretty real.
More like a salt tire. That's an extra.
I told you I was going to do my drum fills way more extra, dude.
Did you tell me that?
A few episodes ago.
Okay.
Caught you by surprise.
Last year. Well, why don't we just jump into it? Because this movie is so crazy to talk about. Like, I don't feel like it's going to be too much of a recap of more of like a what does this movie make us feel? Because this movie had me feeling all types of ways.
All sorts of emotions. I've seen this. You've seen this 3 times. I've seen this twice. I watched it before. I watched it last night, and half of it because it's a pretty lengthy film. Doesn't feel like it. And I watched the rest today. And on the second watch, I thought it would be an easier watch.
No, but it's a different watch.
I'm honestly cried, and I know that sounds like ridiculous. I mean,
No.
It just makes me think of a whole lot of other stuff. Putting yourself in the shoes of these individuals in this kind of plot, like if the world were to end.
I will say the one of the few times, or one of the second or third times that I watched it, I did think about it, like, well, like, what would you do? And honestly, they do the best thing: have dinner with your closest friends and your family, and just kind of like let it go.
Yeah. At this point, I'm pretty sure like whoever's listening to this has already seen the film, so we don't have to worry about spoilers.
What we assume for every episode.
Yeah, and like if you read the synopsis, if you read the synopsis of the movie on Netflix, you already know what it's about.
Or don't read the synopsis. Just
jump
see
in.
that we did an episode on this movie. Go watch it, and just go in with an open virgin mind, like I did.
Open virgin mind. Yeah, like he did. I'm just fascinated by the choice of words. Very articulate.
I'm a professional podcaster, you bitch.
What the fuck, dude? Man, maybe I wasn't being sarcastic and I was actually appreciative of your word choice, you bitch.
This movie has 5 Academy Award winners.
With an accumulative, I think, 41 Oscar nominations.
Not a surprise at all. I mean, even like the throwaway roles are by like Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
dude, Chris Evans, A-listers.
Chris Evans.
Oh gosh, dude, I think altogether this cast, the main cast alone has 8 Oscar wins. And that's not even including like their Emmy nominations and wins and all that stuff or other shit.
I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4 for sure that have won.
Yeah. Yeah. Leo finally got his. I'm pretty sure.
Leo, Meryl, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jonah
didn't
right?
win.
Oh, he was just nominated. For Wolf of Wall Street, was it?
Moneyball.
Just
rewatch Wolf of Wall Street. Still impeccable. Still great. Such an incredible
movie. Dude.
Not Martin Scorsese's best, but it's up there. Would you like me to rate you? Or rate the film? Rate the film right in front of you?
I rate the film right in front of me, boy.
All right. It had a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Dope. That's good. That's pretty good.
54% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not dope, dude.
And it had a 49% on Metacritic.
Not dope either.
And the Google users, would you like to guess?
Dude, this one's tough. Wow. Because in the state that the world is in, and whoever, because I'm already talking to some people that said like, nah, dude, I hate movies that deal with like social issues and like they're trying to make a satire of it. And I'm like, fuck out of here, dude.
Well, that's every movie, you bitch.
Yeah. Then we'll go watch.
Yeah, don't watch any Marvel movie, then, you motherfucker.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
I hate that person. I've never met them, but I hate them. I hope they're listening.
And if you are listening, keep listening. I don't mean to offend you personally, but I just don't agree with you.
And I do mean to offend you personally, so keep listening to find out when I get to you.
Bitch.
Thank you. I forgot the rest of my line. Thank you.
87%. Oh, I don't know. I'm 83. What is it?
82%.
Whoa, shit.
Whoa, bro.
Because personally, like, I would think that this would get a 91%, but because of the issues that it is narrating
because of the polarization of it.
Yeah.
I think people are voting no or thumbs down on it without ever seeing the movie. And even people who might think that they agree with the movie will watch it and be like, this isn't what I'm thinking at all. It's when you make a movie this politically charged, you really got to hope that the majority of the people are with you.
Yeah.
And then to do it in a comedic way, believe me, it's not easy to make political jokes, man.
No, dude. And
everyone always says it's like, oh, I bet it's real easy to make jokes in the Bush era, or I bet it's real easy to make jokes when Trump was president. It's like, no, actually, jokes are always really hard to make because everybody fucking sucks.
Yep. Yes. Especially with something like this. All good jokes hold some truth, people. Man. Yeah. Yes, I will say. All good jokes, like to a certain extent, can hurt people.
Every joke does offend somebody, and like you just kind of have to take your blows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we're making fun of you, South African Jamaican men.
Very, very specific.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Synapses coming at you.
Right at you.
This is again one of our longest synapses, so bear with me. Buckle in. 2 low-level astronomers must go on a giant media tour to warn mankind of an approaching comet that will destroy planet Earth.
Oh, shit. It's really that short?
It's one sentence.
Wow. Okay. They saved the rest for the movie.
I mean, I didn't even know that, but even hearing that, there's so much more to this movie than...
That sounds stressful already. And like, I like how they tied in the title of the movie at the end without having to shoehorn it in like other movies.
Yeah, they do a good job of... They do a really good job of making it very contemporary, this film, and like the emotions and the feelings and the draw of the excitement of, you know, mob mentality is very clearly played out in this film multiple times in every sense of the word. Mob mentality in, you know, riots for what they believe is right when they find out that, you know, the rich people have a spaceship. Riots in the way of when they find out that they've been lied to by the politicians, so they start rioting and throwing shit. And then also to just like the complete destruction of, you know, humankind when we figure out that that's it, we're done.
With Adam McKay, he is very well known for having a long leash to let his actors on his film improvise. And so apparently Meryl Streep was like also a great improviser in this film, along with Jonah Hill. I
heard after a little bit of pushing, Timothée Chalamet killed it on his improv.
Yeah, because he seems like a more of a grounded actor, right?
I will say, I do not think we needed he's my least favorite character in the film.
Do you think he was unnecessary?
I think he was unnecessary. I love you, Timothée Chalamet, not that you're listening. And I also love you, Cate Blanchett. But I don't think his storyline and then the affair storyline needed to be in this film. I think they just wanted to put everything that is somewhat taboo in this.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was absolutely necessary, but I think in opposition, I think it helps because Timothée Chalamet's character, I think his point was to show the dichotomy of this whole thing being backed by science because he was raised evangelical. And so there was some,
but he was for it though. He was like, "Yeah, dude, let's kill everybody. I hate everybody. This plan sucks."
At the end, and I think that he was placed there for that kind of contrast, right?
Sure.
Like there was some like weight with his character leading the prayer at the very end.
I will say what we find at the dinner table at the end of the film is everybody's honest, true self.
Yeah.
And in fact, even Dr. Oglethorpe says, he's like, I'm going to be honest because at this point, why not?
Yeah.
That is truly the only time that we really see all these people for who they truly are. That's why I think they kind of go back to what they know and what they feel. But everyone who's at that table exhibits different characteristics throughout the film. And then it's at this final meal when they kind of come to terms with what's happening. And then it's done in slow motion. I mean, the end of the world is, and I know we're just going right to the end of it, but when they finally get hit with, you know, the
comet
tidal wave of comet destruction, it's beautifully done. It's done in an incredibly artistic, smart, thought-provoking way, you know, and this whole film is very thought-provoking in its own way. If you can get past the crassness and the straight finger pointing, and you know,
it's a challenge. It's walking the tightrope, balancing humor and sending a message, right? Which is why I think this film is pretty masterful, right?
I think not only is it masterful in that sense, but it's also masterful in the sense of character work.
Absolutely.
I think Jonah Hill's character is one of the best characters he's ever done because everybody hates every second of the film that he's on.
Yeah.
And that's not who Jonah Hill is. Like, he made that character.
It's very
pristine.
Specific,
very
and a lot
good.
of it is improvised because, like, especially the weird characteristic that he puts into his character of like being weirdly attracted to his mother. He says like, I can't think of any other president that I'd rather see in Playboy. Well, or like he says like, man, look at this smoke show. If she wasn't my mother, I tell you.
But that's a direct reference to Donald Trump when he said Ivanka if Ivanka wasn't his daughter.
He said he was trying his best to embody Fyre Festival, the Fyre Festival in a person.
And he did a great job. Yeah. Like he does such a nepotism incarnate character that from the first second he's on the screen, Karen, when I was watching it with her, Karen was like, I hate Jonah Hill.
Of course.
I hate Jonah Hill. I was like, well, like, let's just hate the character he's playing because this isn't who he really is.
Well, I think whenever people say they hate someone, if it's not cringe, then they're doing a good job. Like every antagonist, you need to feel some sort of like emotional tension.
Have you seen Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List?
I hate him.
I hate him.
Right? Doing a good job.
Incredible, dude.
And so, apparently the editor here, since this was so heavily improvised because it's an Adam McKay film, the editor was, when putting it together, said he couldn't put the funniest edits together, the funniest takes from like their ad-libbing together, because there is that balance of people still need to somewhat take this too seriously. If the first 30 minutes is just hysterical, how are you going to take the rest of it seriously?
For sure.
Right?
For sure. It can't be as funny as Step Brothers, but as poignant as, an Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah. Yes. Is that a movie?
Yeah, it was that Al Gore documentary. Remember when he told us all
he's
about
talking about climate change
and stuff, and they're just like, "Didn't you guys make money on the oil family?" It's like, whatever.
Super ironic. Yeah.
Isn't it ironic?
But even the way this begins, it's like it's so grounded. Like with Jennifer Lawrence discovering the comet, and it's not, and like you're like wondering what happens, and it's not until they start making the calculations. Leonardo DiCaprio is using like something he calls Gauss's method, which is all like this is all real.
It's all real stuff. Yeah, Gauss's method is a way to track space objects.
They were using a good few high-level astronomers to consult on this film to make sure that the science behind it like makes sense. Yes, it's extremely rare for a comet in the vast largeness of space to actually hit our planet.
As ridiculous as this film is, it is one of the most realistic things in like some of the jokiest points. One of the things that I thought was maybe the most real sentences ever said was when Meryl Streep is having their meeting in the White House, and she goes, "We have an end of the world meeting like once a month." Like, I truly believe the president has a meeting with somebody once a month who's just like, "Wow, we're the fucking Koreans got a faster bomb now," and it's like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? It's like, we're all fucked, 96% fucked.
Yep.
And the odds of something actually happening like that are very rare, so we think. But I do think, when you are in charge of the well-being of millions and millions of people, every day you're being told this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then every once in a while you have a COVID or a swine flu or a Normandy invasion.
Yeah, but I think that this is the way that they're really making fun of the people and the platforms that get in the way of saving the world.
For sure.
It's like so funny yet so real. Even though Meryl Streep is this this caricature of political of a mixture of some political figures,
for sure,
and some like past presidents, it's done so well.
Past presidents? Who could you mean?
I don't know, and I don't want to say because it's definitely Eisenhower. Yeah, I think we can agree on that.
I love the little jokes, the Adam McKay jokes that that are so prominent that you like, that either are improv or it's just like his directorial style that keeps that in the film. Two of them that stand out to me the most is one, when the general from the Pentagon,
I knew it,
charges them for snacks.
It's just like, man, they charge an arm and a leg for this, $10 a piece, and it was like a bag of crackers and a water.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, I mean, that's somewhat believable. Yeah, sure. And then
Dr. Oglethorpe is like, you got change? And he's like, nope, none at all.
And so he clears $40 from them.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence can't let it go. She's like, what a fucking power move.
Yeah.
She's like, because he's going to know eventually we're going to find out that they're not.
Yeah, why would he do that? He's a 3-star general at the Pentagon.
Why would he do that? And it's just like, I don't know. The other joke that I love the most that I think about all the time is after they finally admit there's a asteroid coming, when they're sitting in that little locked room in the White House, and Oglethorpe goes, one time I met Sting, and he farted in front of me.
He didn't make any eye contact.
He didn't say, excuse me. And you know what? He pulled it off. He's a very likable guy.
Yeah, I still found him charming. It's just, this is how I know a lot of people talking shit about this film don't really have much to talk shit about. Is that there's a good amount of people on the internet talking about how fake Dr. Oglethorpe's wig is. If that's like the only thing you could find wrong about this film, then go ahead.
Which is weird because nobody's talking about how fake Leonardo DiCaprio's beard is.
Oh, the big ass beard at the beginning.
The whole beard he has is fake. That's not a real beard.
Oh, like later on, like
everything is fake. Everything is fake.
No,
that whole beard. No, sir, that whole beard is fake.
What? That's the weird thing to scrutinize. The patchiness of it.
No, he had literal hair extensions like put onto his face and makeup to make up that beard.
I think it looks pretty good if it's a fake beard.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I also think he could grow a beard that looks like that. But he didn't. Hair and makeup put that beard on him. That's a thing.
He and Jonah Hill lived together during the shooting of this.
I love that.
Because they're that close. And it's so funny that like if you were to think about Leonardo DiCaprio, this guy that was in like the Titanic, yes, stuff like that. I think Jonah Hill, who started off with like Superbad. them being as good of friends as they are is like such an incredible,
I think it's because they get to a point where you're so famous that the only people who understand you are other famous people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leonardo DiCaprio can't date a regular girl who works a 9 to 5 and you know what I mean? Like he has to only date top of the line supermodels because they're the only ones who understand the stuff that he's
Do you remember
going
his brief stint with Rihanna? Crazy. They like found pictures of them two like chilling in a house in like in Hawaii or
I
like
bet
on an
Leo
island.
has gotten some of the best strange that you could imagine.
Yeah. Without like being a
He was
weird
with
dude about
Giselle
it.
for a bunch of years. Giselle Bundchen, Tom Brady's wife. He was with her for like
what?
a long time before she
He's
got with
not
Tom
married,
Brady.
right, Leo?
No, he's a certified bachelor.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, he could get off his yacht and stop telling me to waste fossil fuel and shit like that, but whatever, Leo.
And now Jonah Hill, like we said in Tuesday's episode, looking like a beach bum, stuff like that.
I love his transformation because in his films you don't know what he looks like.
No, he's gone through he was like bigger before, and then like
We're not
lost
actually
a lot of
supposed to
weight.
talk about that. He actually requested that people stop talking about his body, so we won't. We're
There's
not
like
going
an
to talk
interview.
about
Yeah,
it.
we won't comment on it at all. But like
for him because we're friends.
Yeah, yes, we want to keep that healthy relationship.
I love you, Jonah Hill.
I love
I
you,
think
Jonah
you don't get
Hill.
enough credit for how good of an actor you are.
Yeah, set
except
aside from your
for-
weight. What?
This is the end.
Incredible job.
That's an impeccable job. That is that's not acting. That's you.
It's so funny.
Let's ask the question that everybody's going to be wondering.
What?
What would you do if you knew the world was ending in a week?
I want to say I would do exactly what they did at the end of this film and like be with my loved ones around a dinner table and just try to appreciate what I have there. But I can't speak for how I will react knowing that in like a few seconds, am I going to be screaming and am I just going to be like in tears? Like this ending, and we're going to be talking about this ending a lot because it's so powerful without much being said and without much being in the script. But there are like a few moments where Leonardo DiCaprio, he puts his hand on his son's shoulder, and that like got me like so emotional. It's getting me emotional right now because like that's just so subtle. Without he can't even look his son in the eyes, knowing that he's about to lose everything. And he even says like the last thing Leonardo DiCaprio says before they like die is, "We did have everything, didn't we?" Because they're talking about like store-bought apple pie and good coffee and stuff like that. And
that was an improvised line.
we did have everything, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude.
It's an incredible thing. I would like to think that I would, first of all, live incredibly reckless. I'd be driving 90 miles an hour anytime I got in a car. I would try and get in an airplane, learn how to fly an airplane. Because my thing would be like, well, even if I crash it and die immediately, I'm going to die immediately when this shit happens anyways. Might as well have some fucking fun.
You're going to be the guy that was over at like where they were doing the Bash launch. And he's the guy, once they said, "Oh, fuck it," there's a guy in the back that says, "I'm going to go do an 8-ball.
Yes, you're right. I did. That was one of my favorite throwaway lines. When he's
so
like, I'm
funny.
going to do an 8-ball.
Because there's two people prior to him who's just like, I got to go see my
I gotta
husband.
go see my family. He's like, my daughter's 20. I need to go see her. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna do an 8-ball. Yeah,
Dude.
no, I would be on everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
I would be, I would be torn because I know people in my family would want to spend time with like our family as a whole, but I myself would want to be like riding a bull or just like doing something that I'm never gonna really get a chance to.
You wouldn't be like, do you remember the over the top shot as it was panning out? There was like this rooftop bar where everyone was just fucking.
Was that what they were doing?
Yeah, dude, if you look, it's on my second watch, I looked closer and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's an orgy happening. Everyone there's naked. You see that they're all humping. That might
be where I want to spend. That might be where I want to go.
it seems disgusting.
That might be where I want to go.
And then you see Tyler Perry and Cate Blanchett at the bar.
Like, okay, honestly, that's what I'd be doing. Drinking and talking shit about people.
With one person. Yeah, and it's such a realistic thing. Tyler Perry's freaking out.
Fucking hammered and talk shit about people.
He's like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to fuck? Do you want to drink? And she's just like, honestly, I just want to drink and talk shit about people. And I'm like, that's realistic.
That's the way I want to go.
Yeah, and them two, incredible job at representing
Regis and Kelly.
Yes.
Also, Ron Perlman going down shooting at the comic.
You'll never take me alive.
Also a great way to go.
Yeah. I like how he's yelling at the kids in the front lawn of the White House. Just like, come on, you pussies.
He's just gone, but it's like, this is just from a different era.
Everyone say, then that's an Adam McKay thing.
Yeah.
Everyone saying,
from a different era.
he's just from a different area, or a different era. Saying, I just want to commemorate all the good white folks out there.
Good white folks out there. He's like, you know what I'd like to see? The Indians getting together, not the dot heads and the feather wearers, but you know,
he said,
that would have been good if you guys got together. That would have been fun to watch.
I think he said the ones that wear turbans and the ones with the bow and arrows. You guys should get together. That'd be fun. And then after that, that's when they say again, he's just from a different generation.
We should stop putting this out there.
It's so fucking funny. But on my second watch, it was harder to stomach the moment where the first launch when they cancel the first launch, and you see all of the missiles turning around.
Peter Ishwal,
something like that.
How do you feel about that character?
Hate him, meaning that actor, who is I think an Oscar winner as well, from something else.
And I know him from Ready Player One.
Ooh, I haven't seen that yet. Which is, I know, something that I should watch.
I read the book.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, cool.
What the fuck?
No. I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. That was a real like, I know that looks sarcastic.
Such a fucking dick.
No.
Wow.
Okay. No.
Honestly, never been more offended.
No. I honestly squinted at the wrong time with the wrong voice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go fucking read the book.
Yeah, I bet I'll go read it.
I bet I'll fucking go read it. Don't tell me what the fuck to do, man.
No. Yeah, no, I think he did a really good job of like encapsulating the vagueness, weirdness of like the Steve Jobs with the clearly something's not quite right with the Elon Musk and like, and then the penis shaped rocket like Jeff Bezos. Like he did a good job of being the 0.001% of America.
The third richest human in the world is what he was.
I believe it.
And like just always trying to flex like my algorithms calculate that you're gonna die alone.
Which was wrong.
Yep. Which was wrong.
And also on second or third watch of watching it, I kind of felt like he was lying. I kind of feel like what we see throughout
with the
him
algorithms
is that he says all this stuff because he's a salesman and none of this stuff is actually, but he's able to sell it.
But how about like, okay.
Because he was wrong about going to a planet that was safe. He was wrong about everything he's ever said. He was wrong about. They couldn't stop the asteroid. They couldn't break it apart with his drones. They're like all the things that he said. So that leads me to believe like, well, why would his computer system be able to predict death? I think he's just saying it to like flex.
But also
because he's a small person.
He was able to predict Meryl Streep's death though.
Did he predict her death?
Yeah, he says, remember right before the launch, she's like, you talking about like predicting Dr. Mindy's death got me excited to know about mine. So how do I die? I don't want to know. Actually, I want to know. And he was like, you get eaten by like a bronchioraptor or whatever the fuck. It. Which is the feathered animal in that faraway planet.
That's a good point.
Her face gets ripped off. So I don't think that his algorithms and like how it detects some like human behavior, sure, whatever the fuck. But it's not better than his technology does not beat science. Which is what it comes down to.
Or just like the people's living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in Back to the Future when the paper disappears.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Doc says, your future hasn't been written yet.
So he doesn't fucking know. I mean, like, look, Dr. Mindy was able to prove him wrong and died with his loved ones, right?
And a couple of people he met just a few months ago.
Yeah, fucking Yule. Yule is the name of Timothée Chalamet's character. He's like, yeah, it's festive.
I do like and hate his character because like the lines that I hate the most are the lines that I also love the most.
Yeah.
Like when he first comes in, he's like, oh yeah, you can follow me on Twitch. And like, I was like,
oh, he's just like, yeah. Are you familiar with like Phantom 4321? You game?
He's like, that's me on Twitch. And it's just like, oh, I love fingerling potatoes. Like,
he screams
he's so good at being
fingerling potatoes.
At being us, at being the millennial. Like he is pretty good.
That's his real hair, by the way. He grew it out during COVID and he had like a
not a surprise.
He's gonna chop it off for the movie, but Adam McKay, so I was just like, keep it. I like it.
I like you looking like a Neanderthal. I also think, like I said, Leonardo DiCaprio looks like he could be a 40-year-old scientist.
Yeah.
Like he looks really good.
Really fits
this role. If he didn't become a world famous actor, I think he'd be married with a wife and 3 ugly kids in the middle of the Midwest.
No, I see it. He really looks like the part. I think he'd probably still have like a more extravagant life than that. But I don't know, maybe because he's just a star-studded dude. This
is the worst he's looked in movies, though, because he was kind of chunky. He did look big. Like, the costume does him really some justice.
But he, like, fit that...
but it fit the character perfectly.
An AILF, astronomer I'd love to fuck. I love the memes and the social media outrage and how he polled well, right?
I love how when they're first talking about that at the New York Herald or whatever, and he's
Yeah.
like, I think this is photoshopped. He's like, I'm pretty sure this is photoshopped.
Yeah.
And then they talk about how much everyone wants to fuck him, and he's like, I don't know what this has to do with anything. I don't know why this is relevant.
And then
at
he
all.
gets like hooked to the culture and to the fame that he's having like social media arguments. He's like calling his he's telling his wife like, look at this dumbass. He doesn't even know how to use his
It's like he
Gauss's
doesn't
method.
even know what a heliocentric universe is. And
Yes,
he's
shit
calling
like
me
that.
an idiot.
It's funny because we were expecting when they first appeared on the Daily Rip for him to not do well because they're saying like, be sure before he goes out there, make sure he gets media training.
Yeah.
And it turns out he did well, and then Cate did horribly.
Well, and I love the slow buildup of this movie could very easily be a scientist goes on TV and screams to the world, we're all going to die, and then the movie becomes people living out their last couple of days.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that right away. They made it a realistic slow build where he's doing different shows and they have him trying to explain it on Sesame Street and they have him trying to, make it understandable for the everyday person.
Yeah.
And then when he finally does get to the point where he loses his mind and he is just screaming at the television, we're all going to fucking die.
Dude. It's
so realistic and perfect that any other way to build it up into that point would have come off as hack.
Yeah. It's there's reason as to why this movie is 2.5 hours long, because with such a big social issue, with such a big hypothetical catastrophic event, you have to build up to that climax where it was his turning point of like, okay, I fell into this world of fame, right? And now it's like, dude, we're gonna die in a week. How do we even talk to each
How
other?
are we
Or something
still arguing if there's an asteroid at all?
Yeah.
Like, we're not even talking about the things that are important here. We're over here saying that there might not even be an asteroid for us to be worried about. And, I hate to say it, but everybody likes to make things politically charged. So.
Yeah, and that's what this movie's really pointing out. And it's realistic. Like, his character arc is very realistic to me because he is a doctor that he's a professor that teaches at what's the university?
Michigan State.
At Michigan State. And so he's not getting a lot of clout there already, right?
No, well, even Jonah Hill says, he's like, oh, well, why don't we have one of our scientists
Like someone from like an Ivy
like
League
a
school.
Yale or Harvard or
Princeton
something.
or something. And so
they have a really good astronomy program. He's like, sure.
And Kate is like, do you want to fucking see my SAT scores? But Dr. Mindy, you understand where he's coming from, because when he's talking to Dr. Oglethorpe on the phone and he's explaining who he is, he's saying like, hi, I'm Dr. Mindy, professor at Michigan State. I haven't published anything in a while.
I published this, I haven't been there. But even Jennifer Lawrence is like, shut the fuck up.
It's okay. But he's already having these confidence issues. Like, for such an intelligent man, you can tell that there's like a lot of insecurities, which is why he like dives deep into the fame.
PR training. Yeah, because it's everything he's ever wanted and something he's never experienced before. Then he gets the attention of like a really pretty TV personality. And then
dude, Cate Blanchett looked really good.
He starts
in this.
wearing really nice suits and gets his hair cut and his beard trimmed.
Yeah.
And,
even his sons are like, Dad looks really good on TV,
Dad
right?
looks pretty handsome.
They did something with his beard.
I do like when they were going through all of like the memes and stuff at the end. They're like, oh yeah, and the story didn't track higher than regular weather news or anything like that. It's like, what the fuck? How did this not get any traction?
Nothing, dude. It's supposed to be a big deal. But, and it's so funny that they used Ariana Grande and Kid Cudi and this like stupid fucking like celebrity romance divorce or like marriage thing.
Well, hey, last week I spent a full day watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and yes, that is exactly how they pacify the American people.
Fucking horrible. So like, yeah, that's great. If that's your pastime and you want to like watch these like interesting family, right, and reality TV. But dude, like, if there's a public announcement for a catastrophic event, extinction level catastrophic event, that better be the fucking thing that takes the cake at the end of the day.
No, man. Remember that Supreme Court justice posed a nude for an art show or something like that.
Dude, they couldn't even talk. The cabinet couldn't talk to Cate and Dr. Mindy because they took the entire day talking about how he was unfit to be
But she was Meryl Streep was banging him. That's why she wanted him to be.
She sent her cooch to him.
Well, and that's why we don't have Owen president.
Hey, whoa. It's a joke, baddies.
It's satire. That's
it's
satire. I do have to pee again since this seems to be a regular thing now.
Go ahead, go pee.
But there are a lot of very poignant finger pointing moments in this movie, but there's also very subtle, low underlying things that happen that come back up that aren't the most in your face things. So like the comment on memes, the comment on like the Patriot News, which was their version of like Fox News, talking about any other story besides the fact that the world was ending. Like, and they didn't give direct, cues or looks at, but you see it in the background and you see these differences. And these are really poignant points of this country where I think people are forgetting that, we are getting pacified by keeping up with the Kardashians or with, vaccinated or not, or making things so polarizing when they don't need to be. When like we can just take the time to look at what's happening, be educated, smart adults, and make a decision. But it turns into something more than that. And then suddenly people don't want to look up anymore. People don't want to, wear a mask or whatever.
It's displayed here in this movie. Like they're all wearing pins and they're all chanting. It's "Don't look up" versus "Look up," right? And it's frustrating. And like even at the very end, when the comment you could actually see in the sky. Yeah. Right. It's just like this weird moment of Cate seeing it and saying, "Oh, there it is," because a lot of people is seeing. Is believing, right? Yeah. You can't see climate change. You can't see COVID, so you're going to get some
can, actually. You can see the ramifications of both of those things. They're very clear.
Yes, you could see the ramifications and all that stuff, but like, let's just talk about the extremists, the radicals out there that are just like, COVID doesn't exist because you don't see the actual virus, right? Some shit like that. These people are saying this comet doesn't exist because we can't see it in the sky. But
if I don't look up, I don't see it. And you know what I find most poignant about that point?
What?
Is when Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio see the comet. Yeah. It's not until later that the people who don't look up finally see the comet. Yeah. Like it's been within view for a long time to the point where when they finally do look up and see it, they're fucked.
He's just like, what is that? They fucking lied to us. And they started throwing a bunch of glass bottles at Jonah Hill.
I was like, what the fuck?
This is my face, you fucking rednecks.
I do like that, the CEO and Meryl Streep leave, and they leave Jonah Hill alone in like the command center. Yeah. And they're like, well, what do we do without the president? And he's like, I got the feeling of when you're a kid at a grocery store and your mom goes to get one more thing. And then suddenly you're at the checkout teller, and you're like, "My mom went to go get
she's coming back.
Pancakes.
She's coming back."
That's what I felt like he was doing when he's like, "She's gonna be back any minute."
Jonah Hill was nothing without her, even to the point where Meryl Streep calls up Leonardo DiCaprio later, saying, "Peter and I, we have a ship. It seats 2,000 people. You and one other person can come. You can bring Bree. You can bring your wife. I don't give a fuck who you bring. Do you want to come?" And he was like, "Nah, you and Jason, you guys have safe travels. Thank you." And she's like, Jason. Oh my God, Jason. Forgot her own son, which is wild. And I think a lot of people missed this because I missed this on my first watch. The post-credit scene.
The post-credit scene.
Post-credit scene.
There's a mid-credit scene and then there's a post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is when we see them 22,000 years into the future.
22,740 years later, I believe is the exact number.
Landing on another Earth-like planet in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, and then Peter's like, actually, the oxygen levels here are 9% higher, so if you feel lightheaded, don't be alarmed.
And then immediately they get eaten by animals.
You see like 5 of those circling feathered reptiles.
It's the same animal from Up.
That's what it looks like, except not as nice.
I imagine it's the same animal from Up.
Shit.
Do you think they survived, or do you think they got eaten?
I think they all got eaten. I think if they survived, that would be too much. That would be too much irony because these bad people made it. Yeah. Because I think the reason as to why Adam McKay said allowed for Jonah Hill to survive at the end was for that irony. The most selfish, materialistic person that didn't believe in the comet.
Well, cockroaches don't die in an atomic bomb.
Shit, he is a motherfucking.
That's how I read it as. What I did love about that final post-credit scene with the spaceship coming to Earth is just like everything that Ishmael has done. Yeah. It doesn't work perfectly. There's pods that don't launch from the ship. There's pods that do launch but launch worry and go the wrong way. Dude. There's pods that do get down to the Earth but then crash. Mm-hmm. Like only 3 or 4 of them actually made it down to the planet.
Dude, Jonah Hill was like, so how many of these can we lose? And you see Peter freaking out. And he's like, You mean like how many more?
Yeah, because it's like, how do you...
Because it's not peer reviewed. It made me so upset when Leonardo DiCaprio was saying, hey, Peter, I don't mean any offense, but is any of this peer reviewed? I don't want you approaching this like a businessman. And then Peter's like, businessman?
Is that all you see me as?
I'm evolving the human species. Yeah.
That was maybe one of the scariest speeches I've ever seen because he's not looking at him for half of it.
Yeah.
And then when he does look at him is when he's like, I know exactly how you'll die. You have polyps in your asshole.
Yeah, and they're not that bad, but you should definitely check them out soon.
You should definitely go call a doctor.
Yeah, and you can see he's so disconnected from human interaction that he's treating these girls during his TED Talk horribly.
The kids, I'm so sorry, I still have COVID.
It's okay.
The kids are like, can I say something? And he's like, no.
And it's just like, I love you, Mr. Isherwal. And he says nothing. And they take the phones away from them after the presentation. They're like,
I'm afraid the monkey and chicken video might be a little scary.
I think the chicken is actually quite aggressive.
Which, like that is so, how many CEOs have that pulling? They're like, you know what? The red color is a little too aggressive for us. Let's switch it to blue. And it's just like...
Yeah, they have like statistics on very small, subtle...
Unbelievable.
Crazy things, man.
Best and worst part of this film for you?
Worst part of the film, in the best way possible, because it was meant to happen, was when they canceled the first initial launch that should have worked, right? Because Leonardo DiCaprio was already saying, like, we've already increased to an 81% success rate. And that was peer reviewed.
When that happened, I was expecting the rockets to crash into each other, and that's what was going to happen. So when they ended up turning around, I was also like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, the people watching, there was one dude saying, is it turning around? And there was a dude saying...
No, it's a course correction. I know. I was in the Navy.
yeah.
That was like the perfect Facebook comments that I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, exactly. That, and then, so that was... the best moments for me were like probably the saddest moments, to be honest. It's like, I think my favorite scene, other than the end that we've already touched upon, was the car ride with Dr. Mindy, Cate, and Yule in the backseat. And he starts playing this song by the Mills Brothers, and talks about like the lyrics. And supposedly that song Leonardo DiCaprio chose himself. And the part, and I mean, I was in tears when this was happening because music gets to me. But when he breaks down the lyrics saying that it's about these World War II soldiers that might not come back, and they're talking about how with every gain that there is a loss, and let's just hope that the only thing we're losing is time. Meaning there's nothing you can do about losing time because time keeps moving forward. Let's hope we're gaining everything else. But to have such beautiful lyrics played when you know that your imminent death is coming, like, was just so powerful to me that like that makes you think about there's so much weight to that, like with let's hope that the only thing we're losing is time. And like it's just once again putting myself in those hypothetical shoes of fuck, dude, what would I do knowing that the world was gonna end?
What wouldn't you do?
I don't know.
That's a better question.
Be a bad person. I know a lot of people will take the opportunity to say like, what's the point of being a good person when there are no consequences to being sinful, right?
That's pretty much exactly where I'm at.
Be doing all the bad things that you can?
I'm gonna be a fucking Billy the Kid outlaw because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Me and use a crossbow because again, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I think the one of my favorite parts, one of the funniest parts, was when he's in bed with Cate Blanchett and she's like, "Oh, I've done this. I've slept with this many presidents. I own 2 Monets."
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio's like, "I got my Star Wars poster signed by Mark Hamill.
Finally, it's up in the garage." And my father was a middle school geologist, and my mom cut hair out of the kitchen. And she's like, "Okay, finally, we got that out of the way."
And he's like, "Huh? Every time I ask you about your life, you tell me about your favorite restaurants or places that you've gone."
Dude, and it was just like heartbreaking when they go back into his hotel and his wife June is sitting there. And he's like, honey, it's just so complicated. And June's like, wow, that was fast. How quick you made your decision.
Yeah.
And Cate Blanchett.
Kate's like, can we just skip this part? Can we just go to the part where
it's boring.
Which is really, which his wife has the greatest response of being like, no, of course you want to skip the part that's the worst for you because you've gone through this before. She's like, but for us, we've never done this before. I've never experienced this moment before.
Yeah.
It's just the disconnect between the elite and the...
Yeah, dude, even up to the very end, like Cate Blanchett's character is not phased at or takes Dr. Mindy's blow up at the very end wrong. Like, she was just like, why'd you have to do that? You know, I really liked you when I despise most people.
Yeah. She's like, you ruined the optics.
You ruined it for me. And he was like, he had a bag over his head, which is a funny bit.
Which that bit of like, yeah, the FBI doesn't put bags over your head. The CIA does. But I asked them to do that for you.
Yeah. It's so funny. And like, they put, do you remember when Jennifer Lawrence and Dr. Oglethorpe were putting this like weird storage area? And she was like, what if I have to go pee? And he was like, I'll lay out some newspapers and I'll get some Febreze for you. And he's like, Ashley, do you want to come? And she's like, yes. And he just closes the door on her.
That's also when he's like, here, I brought you some water and some snacks. And he throws them.
Yeah,
and Leonardo DiCaprio's like, you don't have to throw them on the floor.
Dude. And you know that stuff is ad-libbed, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
how do you actually react to those moments? It's fantastic.
I loved it. This movie is great. I do think this movie is going to be a tentpole, just like Doctor Strangelove or just like The Dictator. Like, these are movies that are so on the point, spot on finger pointers at contemporary politics that I think at the moment people aren't going to appreciate them for what they are. But looking back now, we look at Charlie Chaplin and we think like, oh, The Great Dictator was such a great poignant thing for him to say, like, he's getting right at Hitler. And like Doctor Strangelove is such a perfect moment of like the commodization of human life in the Cold War. And like, this is such a perfect representation and anecdote of how far up our ass humans have gotten, where we just don't even realize how good we have it because we would rather just not look up and keep enjoying what we're doing.
People can't stomach the medicine, man. They can't, like, the answer for those that don't like this movie, I hope that they at least finished it, and before reacting so quickly like everyone does in this sensitive day and age, I hope that after they watch it, they like really think and they really try to think of the comparisons that this movie is trying to make to our real life issues.
Totally.
Man, and I'm not, you can't back anyone into a corner and tell someone what to do, but you could like hope that with their beliefs that they make a rational decision. It's people are too quick to act.
I don't ask for anybody to make a rational decision because, as we've seen in human history, most people don't. No. I just expect everybody to act in what they think is right.
Yeah. Yes. But here, like there's mob mentality. There's
they still think they're right.
Yeah, dude. It's sad, and I think that this movie was the reason as to why Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio, like heavy hitters in Hollywood, agreed to this is because this hopefully could be just as effective, if not more effective, of sending a message through like humor, through like good writing, through good acting to really get your point across.
It reminds me of a joke, actually, and I think this might be a good way to kind of tie this all up. This man goes to see a doctor, and he's dying of a disease, and the doctor says, well, you don't have much left. You're only going to be living for 5 more. The guy goes, 5 more what? He goes, 4. He goes, 4 what? He goes, 3, 2, 1.
Damn, dude.
But then the guy was like, oh, I can't afford to pay for this visit. He's like, okay, well, you'll live for another 3 months then.
What? Jesus Christ, dude.
What do you rate this film?
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5, dude.
I give this a solid 5 out of 5 as well. Do you have a best person?
It's going to go to Adam McKay.
Mine is going to go to Leo, because Leo did rewrite some of the script.
Nice.
Because he wanted his character to be more so, I'm sure he gave him more lines. But he does a great job, like, portraying this character of, being so scared and, just trying to do the right thing, but getting caught up in the pomp and circumstance of the modern era. And, this movie just hits on so many different points.
No, I get what
I'm
you're
trying to
saying.
think of a better word, but yeah, points.
No, I mean, that's the perfect way to articulate it. It's these characters
Stuttering
are so
before I say the word.
Points. I think these characters are just so textured. I'm kidding.
Love you, bitch.
No, these characters are complex and textured, which is in a film that is funny. Especially when you what you might think of Adam McKay before you know his movies, you might think that a comedy movie might have some 2-dimensional characters, but the way that they're written, they're all flawed with great. The main characters are flawed with great intentions, but
even the side characters,
yeah, dude,
have flaws and learn their lessons and grow. I mean, the character arc that we see for Timothée Chalamet is maybe only a 20-30 minute arc.
Yeah.
But he comes all the way around. You learn everything about him. You learn about his past. You learn about who he is. Like this is a really good movie. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie wins some awards, but also I would not be surprised if it wins none.
Yeah. I mean, it's nominated, and at the very least, I mean, like, it does deserve the nominations for sure.
Is Adam McKay our generation's Stanley Kubrick?
Oh shit, that's a crazy comparison. Let's see what else. I mean, with this movie, that's a step in that direction.
It definitely is.
You know, like with Clockwork Orange is already like something that is just so fucking pivotal for its time, and like it's still just referred to as one of the best cinema masterpieces ever.
And also, Eyes Wide Shut is like maybe the creepiest movie I've ever seen in my life, with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Oh gosh,
a lot of weird ritualistic sex.
Oh yes, I mean, like anything that ritualistic sex is already a fucking crazy phrase.
It's honestly the only way I do it.
You should watch Midsommar then.
No. I'm not into that kind of ritual.
Okay. Horror.
What'd you call me?
Creepy. Horror.
No.
All
Man,
right.
I love this film. You love this film. I love this film. You love this film.
And I love this film, and you love this film. And baddies, we hope you love this film. But for those of you that don't, yes, you're entitled to your own opinion, but give it another watch.
Let us know. Yeah, tell us why you don't like it. Send me an email at christianhasasthma@gmail.com.
That does not exist. No, ICBTB podcast at yahoo.com. No, like legitimately, if you want to comment and talk about this movie, we're down to have a dialogue with it, because I know that this is a divisive film and it's tackling some heavy stuff, but shit, dude.
Yeah, it's one thing to hear the super rich elite Hollywood tell us to get our shit together. And it's another thing to like still make a poignant film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can hate Hollywood for everything that it stands for and still understand that this film has a message.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Couldn't have said it better. Well,
thanks.
Let's wrap it up, dude.
Okay. Coughing.
No COVID.
Have you guys heard about our Instagram? It's this new social media website, and we have a couple of pages. One personal page. You have a personal page.
Yeah.
And then we all have a page for the podcast.
Yeah.
But to look it up, you just hit the magnifying glass button on the bottom.
Yeah.
Hit the search bar and just type in call_me Jesus if you're looking for me. Type in Christian has asthma. If you're looking for Christian, and type in ICBTB podcast if you're looking for the show. Go ahead and rate us. You can now rate us on Spotify.
Crazy.
Rate us on Apple.
Yep.
And then just like rate us based on what we're wearing when you see us in person. 5 stars on that as well.
Comment on our Instagram, comment on YouTube, like, subscribe, help out those algorithms, because that's what's going to help us out in the long run, and we appreciate you baddies. And
listen to scientists. Listen to
data. Science is real, y'all.
Science don't care about your fucking feelings, bro.
No, dude, man. It's numbers and it's
facts.
Facts, bro.
Yeah, facts can't lie. Facts can't lie. Facts can't lie.